This is Cheryl from Majestic Wire Artworks. In this video, I am doing the 1, 2, 3 weave. And if you check out the description, I will have a quick reference to all my dedicated weave tutorials. So in this weave is the 1, 2, 3. We are using 20 gauge for the core wires. So you need 3 core wires. And I'm using 28 gauge for my weaving wire. And the first step is we take the weaving wire, and we give ourselves a tail, and we're placing the weaving wire over top and wrapping tightly around the first core wire, like so. And then we're lassoing in the second core wire. And what lassoing in does is it gives your wires some structure before you actually start weaving, and it really helps with the neatness and the frustration of the wires flopping all over. And when I'm weaving, I like to stagger my wires so that visually you have quick reference as to what wire is where. Core wire 1 being the shortest and core wire 3 being the longest. This weave is using only 3. Some use 2, some use 4, depending on the pattern. Okay, so there it is. And if you see, it holds them pretty good. It still needs your support. But there we go. So the first step of this weave now is we're going to go all the way up the bottom and start from the top. And we're going between the bottom 2 wires. And I want you to notice that I over exaggerate my bends because it keeps, see, I over exaggerated that. Okay, but I'm going to come up through the bottom 2 wires, and that is the first pattern. Now, bring it up closer. Doesn't want to focus. There we go. Okay, so up all 3 at the bottom. Up through the top 2, over exaggerate. Okay, why I over exaggerate is because it keeps the back neat. Because sometimes you want to use the back weave, and I'll demonstrate that later. I'll show you at the end what I've done, one project that I've done using this weave, and I use the back because it has a totally different look. Another thing about this weave, as you go along, this side looks different than this side. So for extra eye interest, that's why I like this weave. So up the 3, between these 2, that's step 1. This is why I call it the 1, 2, 3. Up through these 2, that's step 2. Down and around, exaggerate, and between the bottom, up through the bottom 2, and that's step 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. At the beginning, I cinch up each weave, each pattern, just because it gives it the stability and keeps it neat, and it just needs it more at the beginning. But after about the 4th pattern, then I think I do about every 3rd pattern. Okay. the back, it's still nice and neat. Okay, I'm thinking that's enough to show you how to do the weave. And from this point on, then it just takes practice. And most of my patterns that I make now usually have it where you can take your weave, do it from the end, and that's get the weaving done so you're happy with it, and then I make my piece with the weave. My first few tutorials that I did with weaving might not follow that rule, but most of them do now, just because I just think that relieves a lot of stress. And so now I'm going to show you a piece that I made with this weave, but I used the back as the front instead. And I've also used 26 gauge in this piece. Okay. See, isn't that pretty? I just love how it looks, how it has that peekaboo effect with the little wires coming through the long wire. See, and if you can see it from the back, so that's what it looks like. And I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget, I'm putting the links in the description. Okay?